What's up, YouTube? TCG Battle / Collections here, and I've decided to do a few Yu-Gi-Oh videos since I've mainly focused on Vanguard so far, and I figured why not start this off then with one of my favorite decks that I've loved to play ever since I was a kid. This is gonna be my hero build. There are a few cards missing, but so far it works great. Haven't lost a single duel with this, and let's get started. Just one elemental hero, Neos. I ran two, but didn't really get a chance to play him that many times since I had two. So, he's one of my favorite heroes though, but either way, he's still useful just to have around. Next, I run one Destiny Hero Plasma. I know you're thinking, why have a Destiny Hero in a Elemental Hero deck? Well, you see, Plasma is a really good Destiny Hero, and the best thing about this deck is that you don't really need to have a deck full of Elemental Heroes in this, because this is solely like a masked hero deck. So I can use him as material to bring out Dark Law if I need to. And it's just good to have someone like this, because his ability is by sacrificing 3 monsters on your field, you can special summon him. And you can get the effects of all face-up effect monsters that your opponent has. And once per turn, you can equip one of your opponent's monsters to him. And he gains half of that monster's original attack points. So he's good in case you want to take one of your opponent's strong monsters and to power himself up, and let's say your opponent activates some kind of, let's say Mirror Force when he attacks. Use a Mask Change card if you need to. Sacrifice him and bring out Dark Law in defense mode so he's not destroyed. Either way, I think it's a good idea to have at least one of these guys in here, because even though some people might not like it, Destiny Hero Plasma works pretty well. Next, just for the hell of it, and to bring out one of my masked heroes, since I don't have that many since I have a few Earth attribute, Elemental Hero Blade Edge, another classic from the Elemental Heroes. He can deal piercing damage to your opponent when you attack a monster in defense mode. Not that big of a deal. He's got pretty good attack points, so there's that. I also run. So far, I'm running 2 Shadow Mist. I'm aiming for a third. So far my deck's good as is. Just haven't had a chance to get a third one in here. So there's that. If you don't already know, special Shadow Mist ability is if you special summon it, you can add any change quick play spell card from your deck to your hand. And if this card is sent to the graveyard, and its other ability is if it's sent to the graveyard, either from hand, field, or deck, you automatically add any elemental hero monster from your deck to your hand that isn't named Shadow Mist. But you can only activate this effect once per turn. Next, I know a lot of people are gonna hate me after this, but like I said, this deck is still a little bit in development. I'm still looking for the right cards. It just works really well so far. But one Bubble Man. Go fill up the comments with hate and discredit. I know it's a bad idea to only run one Bubble Man. At least run 2 or 3. If I'm gonna be honest, I do not know what I ended up giving my other Bubble Man to one of my another person building an Elemental Hero deck. Back then, I wasn't that much into Yu-Gi-Oh, so I did not really care. But now that I ended up building this deck, now I wish that I still had it. But either way, I'm still kind of looking for more Bubble Mans, but for now, I'm just keeping one. He's good because if he's the only card in your hand, you can special summon him, and if you have no other cards on the field, when you summon him, you get to draw 2 cards. So, it's alright. Next, I run 2 Elemental Hero Necro Shades. Now, since I have Neos and Blade Edge, having Necro Shade is a must. Then you can use him for material for Dark Law or Anki. I'm just gonna let you guys know from now, I do not have Anki in this deck. I was not lucky enough to get him, so don't ask about Anki. But if I can bring out Necro Shade, I'll just use one of my change spell one of my mass. I can just use one of my mass change cards and turn them into Dark Law. Then on my next turn I can summon Neos or Blade Edge whenever I want without a sacrifice. So it's good. I like it. It's worked like 3 out of 5 times. Decent amount of odds, but it's alright. Next, I run 2 Elemental Hero Oceans. I do not have any water. Actually, I do not have vapor or acid in this deck. Unfortunately, I could not get my hands on them. So sorry for that if I got your hopes up by showing these water attribute cards. But I put Ocean in this deck because during my standby phase, once per turn during my standby phase, I can add any Elemental Hero from the field or graveyard to my hand. Wait, any Elemental Hero, Destiny Hero, or Evil Hero from my graveyard, field, and add it right back to my hand. So let's say I have Shadow Mist in my graveyard. Summon Ocean, add her right back to my hand. Then I could like play her straight to the field, and I let it get destroyed, and then I add another hero to my hand. Or something else. I could add any elemental hero I want from my graveyard back to my hands with him, so it's useful to have. Next, let's see. Next, I run one Eos Alias. Just support to get a Master Hero Koga out, and since he's a Gemini card, I can summon him again, and he's also and count him as Neos. So in case I add any Neos fusion cards, he's a good backup. And he also counts as a normal monster, so I'm not complaining. I just put him in this deck just solely for attack power and as material for Koga. Next, I run one Voltic. Same thing as Alias. Run him for to get Koga, and also for his ability. If I get him to inflict damage, I can add any banished elemental hero and special summon it. So let's say I use like a Miracle Fusion or something, and use and remove Shadow Mist from play. All I have to do is deal damage with Voltic and special summon Shadow Mist back to the field and add any change spell card right to my hand. It's a good combo. I'm thinking of adding an extra one just do that combo, but so far one Voltic works for me. Next I run one Woodsman. So I have like regular fusion elemental heroes that need polymerization, so Woodsman is good to have because during your standby phase, you add polymerization from your deck or graveyard to your hand. So if he's still out on the field by the time if he's face up on the field by the time your next turn comes up, you get to bring polymerization back to your hand almost every turn if he's still on the field. So yeah. Next, one card that I always had in my elemental hero deck, Elemental Hero Wildheart, for a one soul ability, cannot be affected by trap cards. So basically, Wildheart can't be destroyed by Mirror Force or any trap in this game. So even if you use like Shadow Spell or something, he'll still be able to attack. But really good card. Next, Elemental Hero Heat. You get 200 attack points for each elemental hero I control. I not a lot of people run the Master Hero that I have in this deck. Master Hero Goka, I think it's called. Yeah, Goka. I solely run him because of it. And I'm also thinking of getting a Nova Master in this deck, so it's good to have a Fire Attribute card. When I get Blazeman, I'm gonna sub him out for Blazeman. So next, I run one of the classics. I run 3 of the main classics. I have Elemental Hero Avion solely for Divine Wind, but I'm also thinking of getting Flame Wingman and Shining Flare Wingman back into this deck. I run Persenatrix. Persenatrix for Goka, and eventually when I get Flame Wingman, and Sparkman for Koga. Wait, Persenatrix for Goka or Goka, and Sparkman for Koga. I didn't just put these 3 cards just for the Master Hero portion of this deck. I slowly run these guys because eventually I'm gonna be getting like Flame Wingman and Shining Flare Wingman back into this deck, so just gonna keep them in for now. Then it's good to have a few extra guys to get Koga and stuff out. Next, I run 1 Honest for the main ability that when one of my monsters is in battle, I can just send them to the graveyard. My monster's attack points increased by the attack points of the monster it's battling. It's good to have in the deck. Next, I run 1 Neospatian Air Hummingbird. I have him. He's a placeholder for like Bubble Man so far, but bring him out, I can just gain life points equal to the number of cards in my opponent's hand. So it's good to have. A must-have in your deck that you don't have to listen to me for this, but I think it's a must-have. Neospatian Grand Mole, like for a last option card, keep him out. Unless your opponents have like another monster in hand, or have a very difficult monster to summon. Use this guy to return it to the hand, because if it has very hard summoning conditions, Grand Mole is your guy to bring out. Next, just for the iconics and to help just for an iconic card, Winged Kuriboh. Anyone who's seen GX, Winged Kuriboh is basically one card in every Elemental Hero deck. I just keep Winged Kuriboh solely because, let's say I want to like keep my life points safe, and my opponent doesn't have a monster that has that can inflict piercing damage. Play Kuriboh face down. If he's destroyed, ability activates. I cannot take any damage for the rest of the turn. Just so you know, it's battle damage. So if your opponent has monsters that deal effect damage, Winged Kuriboh does absolutely nothing. So that's it. Moving on to the spells, I run 1 Mask Change. I also run in addition to 1 Mask Change, I have 1 Mask Change 2. 1 Form Change, and 1 Mask Charge. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why have just 1 copy of each of those? Simple thing. I do not have more copies of them. The way my deck works is that I use them, then in the end, I end up bringing back Shallow Mist somehow, and adding them back to my hand. I don't really have that much experience with this deck yet. I'm gonna meet with some people to trade for more Mask Change cards, so I'm just gonna have to make do for now. I have 1 A Hero Lives, just because in case you do not have a monster in your hand that you can summon, you can pay half your life points and summon a level 4 or lower elemental hero straight from your deck. So it's good in case if you have like Mask Change in your hand and you want to bring out any elemental hero you want. I have the Warrior Returning Alive. Just return any Mask Hero material straight back to my hand. 1 Pot of Duality, just to try and help search for like Mask Change or Shadow Mist. Then I run H Heated Heart for the extra 500 attack points and piercing damage. The Emergency Call to add any elemental hero to my hand. Our Righteous Justice for the simple ability of destroying my opponent's cards. O Oversoul, bring back a normal elemental hero monster. More specifically Neos. And let's say Sparkman, Vercinatrix, and Avion. Reinforcement of the Army, just to add any level 4 lower warrior type monster. So specifically Shadow Mist or Bubble Man in case I don't have any other cards in my hand or field. Next, I only run 1 Polymerization because I only have like 4 or 5 cards that can be fusion summoned regularly. I have 1 Parallel World Fusion, which lets you fusion summon an elemental hero fusion monster from your extra deck by shuffling banished fusion material back into your deck. Then I run 2 Miracle Fusions. I was thinking of running 3, but then again, I only have 1 Parallel World Fusion so far, so just 2 should be enough. 1 Hero Signal, 1 A Hero Emerges, just to get those high level hero cards out on the field. I run 2 Hero Blasts. one Call of the Haunted to help bring back Shadow Mist, compulsory evacuation device, bottomless trap hole, and Battle Guard Howling. Next, it comes the extra deck. I run one Elemental Hero Escaradeo, so because his attack points increase by 100 for every Elemental Hero in my graveyard. Next, I run one Great Tornado because when you summon him, you can cut the attack and defense of all your opponent's face-up monsters by half. Next one, one copy of the Shining. So because his attack, he gets range attack for each of your banished monsters, and when he's sent to the graveyard, you can target up 2 banished Elemental Hero cards, and return them to your hand. Next, my latest addition to the deck, Elemental Hero Core. Now this guy I think is really good, even though he's a promo card, but he's really good. You can attack up to 3 times. And when your opponent attacks him, his attack points are doubled. And if he's destroyed, you can special summon a level 8 or above Elemental Hero from your graveyard. And one ability I like the most is at the end of either player's turn, you can destroy 1 card. So really, really good card. Next, I run 2 Masked Hero Dianes. The main ability is when it destroys a monster by battle, I can special summon a level 4 or lower hero monster from my deck. So I can bring Shadow Mist out to the field, like right on the same turn I summon this card. So I summon this card with Mask Change. Then after destroying a monster with this card, I can special summon Shadow Mist and add another and then return a Mask Change card from my graveyard to my hand, or from my deck to my hand. Next, I run 1 Masked Hero Goka, so just for the power, and yeah, solely just for the extra 100 attack points for every hero in the graveyard. So he's not built solely around Elemental Heroes, so it's alright. And next, 2 Dark Laws, which as long as it's on the field, all my opponent's cards that can be sent to the graveyard are banished instead. And whenever your opponent draws a card that's not from the draw phase, you get to discard any card you want from your opponent's hand. Next, 2 Divine Winds. Can't be destroyed in battle, and after destroying an opponent's monster, you get to draw. And after destroying an opponent's monster and sending it to the graveyard, you get to draw 1 card. Next, the last of the Masked Heroes in this deck is Masked Hero Koga. While it's facing on the field, it gets 500 attack points for every monster your opponent controls. And once per turn, during either player's turn, you can banish any any hero or masked or elemental hero. Banish any hero monster you want from your graveyard. So you can even banish a masked hero if you wanted to, and lower the attack points of one monster on the field by the attack points of the monster you banished. So a really good card. And last but not least, I run 2 Contrast Hero Chaos. You can only be fusion summoned by using 2 Masked Hero cards. But when he places him on the field, he's also treated as a light action monster, and once per turn during either player's turn, target 1 face-up card on the field and negate that target's effects. So leave your comments on what I need to add to this deck. I know it's not perfect, it's just how it is for now. I am still working on it, but so far it works pretty well for me. It's most likely luck, but this is how my deck is. So this is how my deck is going to be for now. So until I get like more Shadow Mists and Bubble Mans and Mask Changes, this is how my deck is going to be for now. So if you have any like deck request, I'm also working on a Blue Eyes deck, which don't be disappointed because so far it's much more well built than my hero deck. I give you my guarantee. I'm also gonna be trying to do more Yu-Gi-Oh videos. So So stay in touch and keep watching. Thank you.